have gone to this man, Benny Raich. Out of the starting gate, into his rhythm, nice and early, settles and forwards, just like the slalom. Very steep, very icy the moment you leave the starting gate, but we see very few nerves and a lot of aggression and power in the early turns from Benny Raich.
Oh, he's on a roll in Giant Slalom right now, and he knows that these guys are going to be charging behind him, and he knows that it's steep and difficult and challenging, and the only way to be fast today is to be the most aggressive skier out there.
He really is pushing it very, very hard indeed. The clouds are gathering above the mountains. They're expecting snow here in Lenzerheide this evening, but for now it's an icy track. You can hear those skis rattling on the frozen snow from the cold night. 38.63. That's the halfway split time, and that will become the target for the skiers who follow. Benny Raich on course. Olympic Giant Slalom champion and defending World Cup Giant Slalom champion has found the rhythm, has settled. Oh no! And Benny Raich is out! He's thrown it away. Can you believe it? Now, a silence in the finish area, and he has surely thrown it away. Just when he was looking in control, just catches the edge, gets a little high-sided and twisted, and it's out and over in the Giant Slalom title race for Benny Raich. Well, that is absolutely amazing. A nightmare for Benny Raich. It leaves the Tour title wide open, both in Giant Slalom and in the overall. Now, these racers must capitalise on the mistake made by Benny Raich. This is Blardoni of Italy. Blardoni lies in third position. He was trailing by 19 points. Remember, this is the young man who finished runner-up to Benny Raich in the Giant Slalom Tour standings last season, and this is a golden opportunity now, Kristina.
Absolutely. I'm sure he actually doesn't know that Benny hasn't finished, but when he gets to the finish, if hopefully he gets to the finish, he will be really actually delighted that Raich hasn't finished.
Well, it's a great chance for Blardoni, Palander and Svindal. It's also a great chance for Svindal to open the gap in the overall World Cup chase, and Blardoni, just like Benny Raich at this point, looking very calm, settled, good rhythmical Giant Slalom skiing, high and early in the turn, showing us good technique.
Exactly. He has that really nice stance where you can see he really is arcing in and out of every single turn, and it's how you build up speed. It's like, if you were to look at his tracks after he's gone by, it's almost like railroad tracks all the way down.
And Blardoni sets the target time now at 1 minute 03 spot 46. And he is sight. Well, could it be Blardoni's turn to lift the Tour title in Giant Slalom? Here's Kalle Palander. Now, the flying Finn has been consistent on the Giant Slalom Tour, the winner of round 2. On the podium in round 3 in Hinterstoder. He will know Benny Raich has crashed out, and he will know that there's a chance to try and steal the title. He came into this event 60 points adrift, just 41 points adrift of Blardoni, so he's got to take the lead away from the Italian. Remember, there's a second run still to be contested, but Benny Raich is out and out of all of the ski racing today. So, 0.46 for Palander, who looks a little cautious on the top turns, but now looks to let them go.
Yeah, he does. He looks a little bit tentative, and actually looks like he's usually an athlete that I think when you watch him ski, he usually skis a really direct line, and I guess when I say that, like, he goes straighter than a lot of the athletes, and today he looks like he's kind of skiing a really round, conservative line I'm not used to seeing from him.
And the net result, 1.11 seconds off the pace. A lot of work to do for Palander. The goal is really quite simple. He's got to take top position, and again, those skis on the terrain change, they're dropping low and late in the race line.
It's a really challenging finish to the Giant Slalom. In and out of the sun, and the terrain does change a lot.
Well, second position for Kalle Palander, but it's the time difference that's key, almost 3/4 of a second. He shakes his head. He knows that's not good enough, and look at Blardoni getting all pumped up. He knows that the crystal globe now is within his grasp. Ted Legacy for the United States of America started his season in Giant Slalom in great form, taking third spot in the opening race of the Tour in Beaver Creek, Colorado, but then lost his focus in the mid part of the World Cup circuit. But Kristina, fourth in Kranjska Gora, the last GS on the men's circuit. Ligeti could cause a surprise here and help the likes of Svindal to get ahead of Benny Raich.
Yeah, well, he has such a different attitude than a lot of the guys on the circuit. You know, Raich and Svindal, they both are you know, really level-headed and really focused on what they're doing. And he's kind of funny. He's more joking around, and he's such a different. He kind of brings a different characteristic into the World Cup. It's kind of fun to see.
He's a great athlete to watch as well. He's a real risk taker, Ted Ligety. You can clearly see that he trains alongside Bodie Miller because he's starting to have one or two of the technique traits of Miller. But again, this is quite a surprise to see Ted Ligety 2.17 seconds down on Massimiliano Bladoni of the Italian team. And again, Ligety just not got that snap in the turn.
Well, the thing about Giant Slalom is it's just never, you know, it's never ending. You're always working. You have to work from the top to the bottom, and if you just aren't pushing, you're not going for it, you're going to lose time, you know, precious time all the way down.
Ted Ligety goes into third position, but again, look at the time difference, plus 2.12 seconds, and in ski racing, that's an eternity. He'll not hold on to a top position that far off the pace, and once again, still a lot of room for skiers to break into the podium positions on this first run. Canada, next to challenge, Francois Bourque. Bourque on the podium in Giant Slalom this season, round 3 of the Tour, Hinterstode, Austria. Also second in Kranjska a couple of weeks ago now. So again, like a lot of the Canadians, Kristina, Francois Bourque really finding good form towards the end of the season.
Yeah, he really is confident. He's kind of found himself, and it's fun to see because usually when an athlete is that confident, you get to see their true, like, athletic ability comes out, and all their skills just shine.
Well, again, Francois Bourque comes into this final GS of the season lying 5th in the season standings. But a win here today could take him into the top 3, and as we were saying in our World Cup Championship or World Cup Final special last week, the finishing in the top 3 can mean anything up to 100,000 euros in extra bonus money from your sponsors. So just because the Tour title may have been decided, second and third can mean a lot of helpful money to go into a summer's training. Francois Bourque good on the top turns, but again, these terrain changes are a little tough. I have to say, these terrain changes will suit Axel Lund Svindal's style and technique, as Francois Bourque goes into third position, 104.43 seconds his time, with the Bladoni still leading for Italy. Winner of the downhill Crystal Globe this season and second in the Super G. You can never write off Didier Couch at this point in his career. His self-confidence is at an all-time high. And with 20,000 Swiss spectators packed into the grandstand in the finish area, once again Didier looking to turn a few heads and cause a surprise. He's right on the edge of his game on those top turns, but that's what he'll need to do if he's to take the lead away from Bladoni of Italy.
You knew he was going to come out and just charge, and that's what it's about, though. It's about being in charge of this hill, because with the terrain changes, with going in and out of the sun, with how steep it is to flat, to there's so many differences on this hill that you have to be the one in charge, and he is definitely going for it.
He really is taking this performance to the mountain. Now, here's the split target, 37.80. Switzerland go against Italy. And it's 0.77. Well, he's currently skiing in third spot, but we'd have liked to have seen Couch a little closer to the Italian leader.
You know, he's so strong, and I think sometimes he almost is overpowering on his skis. You can see that they start to arc, but then they actually buckle because he's actually skiing almost too powerfully, and the snow is getting softer with the warm conditions.
103.46 remains the fastest time. Didier Couch is in the chase for the second run. 0.68 of a second to find on Bladoni, but going into runner-up position delights the Swiss crowd there. Now, Svindal has a chance to not only take the GS title, but also open up the gap on Benny Raich for the most coveted of season awards, the overall World Cup Crystal Globe. Come on, Axel. Now, Svindal, unbeaten so far in these World Cup finals, 2 from 2. Top spot in downhill, top spot in Super G, and we know he can do the business in Giant Slalom. He showed us that at the World Championships in Sweden, where, of course, the big man from Norway took the gold in this, the Giant Slalom discipline. Kristina nervous on the top, but he's settled now, and we see the green light.
Exactly. You know, he does such a nice job of keeping his upper body really calm and quiet. It's a really good thing to watch because when your upper body's calm and quiet, it lets your feet and your knees and your skis do what you want them to do.
Now this is where a lot of the athletes have lost their time in the midsection, 37.80, and so has Svindal. He's got to find 0.35, but this is where the Norwegian can easily make his mark. He's one of the big, powerful athletes of the Men's World Cup Tour. Often saves a little in the reserve tank for the latter part of his challenge. Now, needs to keep the rhythm. This terrain change now is key, and no problems for Svindal. Now he'll charge for the line. 103.46. Axel Lund Svindal could take the GS title, could take the overall. Svindal, ho-ho! 1/100th of a second separates first and second position, and Svindal is on fire. Well, Blardoni shakes his head. He can't believe it either. But it is going to be a classic second-run battle between Norway and Italy, and Svindal could make it 3 from 3. Well, back to the top of the mountain, and Manfred Molg of the Italian team with start number 8 begins his challenge. And Molg, well, a stronger slalom skier than Giant Slalom racer, but delighted to have qualified for these World Cup finals. And again, Kristina, we're seeing some of the lower ranked Giant Slalom skiers finding the going pretty tough out on the Beltrametti piste today.
Exactly. I mean, the first guys, they make it look so easy and so simple, and then you really get to see when an athlete does struggle how steep and icy it is up there.
Now, Blardoni still, oh, Molg just getting a little caught off balance there in the rhythm change of the course, and it reflects in his second split time. 1.5 seconds off the pace. That takes him outside of the top 5.
Well, the thing about this course is it does turn the whole way. You know, you're not seeing a part in the middle of the course where, you know, sometimes there's a section in the course where an athlete can kind of catch their breath and regroup and refocus, but on this course this morning, it's all about turning all the way down. You just can't afford